Welcome to McChats here on McGTV. Again, that's youtube.com/MikeMcGTV. And of course, follow me on Twitter at MikeMcGTV. And I'm your host, it goes without saying, Mike McG. And again, here we are, another solo show, but not really, because I'm just going to talk a little bit right here at the top and then segue into a little pre-recorded segment featuring my buddy Josh. Kind of wanted to explain a little bit why this is going up as opposed to, say, another movie review with Dan or a chat cave or something else. I don't know. I just feel like, again, I need to space out the nerdy stuff a little bit with some fun, shooting the breeze, personal type of material. And especially now in the new year, because I don't know about you guys out there, but for many, many reasons, the first couple of months here in 2017 has really whipped my ass. Of course, there is kind of a lot of nationwide and global tension going on several fronts. That can kind of play on your mind a little bit, can play on your stress with regards to where are we headed. There's a lot of stuff, which I won't, of course, go into detail here, regarding work, just regular type stuff where you get bogged down with a lot of your workload, a lot of extra burden that you just have to kind of pull up your boots and deal with it. But at the same time, that's also why there hasn't been as regular an influx of material on the site with regards to reviews or parodies, or even like a large frequency of commentary and podcasts. Now I'm getting back into that groove a little bit, which is surprising, because it's usually having to do with this time of year, is that around the winter months, my productivity just bottoms out. I become very lethargic. I feel it. I do have that seasonal affect disorder, and any kind of drastic change in the environment, weather-wise or temperature-wise or in the atmosphere, really messes with me, and I will feel exhausted. I will, at times come down with something or have some form of chronic pain going on, and my productivity on any front, be it stuff I need to take care of, or be it passion stuff such as this, just ceases. And I'm trying to be better at that, not just with McGTV, but with contributing to Three Geeks. I've been kind of bowing out here and there in podcasts, sometimes for good reason, but also because I just get exhausted very easily around this time of year. But also with Never Ending Radical Dude, I have some reviews on the way that I'm glad there's a good amount of reviews that I've kind of delegated to myself and want to take on the responsibility for, so that way it will force me to be productive. It'll force me to get something out there, because that in and of itself can be rewarding in the long run, even though at the time I'm very much like, this is just one extra little hassle I don't need. So even though I'm kind of griping and complaining a little bit about it, I recognize the value of having outlets, of having something to keep me invested and engaged with all these little interests and all these little side things that are going on. Because if I was just solely focused on my work, I would be a very, very miserable person right now. And I know I sound very kind of worn out right now. Again, that just has to deal with the fact that it's late February, coming into March, and even if it is bright and sunny outside, I still feel that winter funk. That's why I'm glad that I'm able to tap on to familiar resources, such as my buddy Josh. And that's what the focus of today's McChat is going to be, is that a couple of days ago I spoke to Josh via Skype and just kind of played catch up, but we talked about a bunch of different things, as you'll hear. And even though this might be interesting to just him and me, I don't care. It's a fun kind of, again, I want to branch out beyond just talking about nerdy stuff all the time. I want to just reminisce. I want to chit chat with people from my past. I want to joke around and have a good time with various voices from various walks of life. And Josh is definitely one of those, let's say, very unique voices from my past that I enjoy reminiscing with, and I enjoy sharing ideas and humor with. So that's what we'll be getting to here very shortly. But really quick, another thing that's kind of killed my productivity is hearing about the loss of a lot of talented individuals who I really admire and respect throughout the fields of art and acting. And 2017 has not pulled punches with regards to that. It's just a continuation of 2016 from the feel of it with regards to a lot of well-known people. Sure, people pass away, people die. You acknowledge the loss and move on. But at the same time, the amount of work that, especially these three actors that I am very fond of, have amassed, that's a monumental legacy just between three individuals. It's a shame that we have lost talent such as Miguel Ferrer, John Hurt, and just recently, this past week, Bill Paxton. Two of those individuals, very, I'll not say young, but relatively young compared to someone like John Hurt, who was combating cancer for a long time, and, he was in his late 70s, so it wasn't completely unexpected that he would be in bad health or would pass away. Like I said, the legacy of work that I personally enjoy from these three individuals, it's going to be difficult to not see their familiar faces or to see their familiar approach to character work in media anymore. Thankfully, we'll have a little bit more Miguel from the relaunched Twin Peaks series. I believe he got all his stuff done before he passed away for the new season. So we'll have that. And I think he did a voice work for a DC movie that Max and I may talk about at some point down the line. So we still have that from him. But I'll always be thankful for his original turn in Twin Peaks, for, again, his contributions to voice acting. Especially, he had a very dark, menacing tone in his voice that worked well for a lot of villainous roles or even more heroic stuff. But also, I'll always be thankful for him as that coked out, wild executive from RoboCop, the original. Bill Paxton, of course, Aliens, Simple Plan, Tombstone. My God, a lot of people were getting on my case for not really liking Twister. I just happened to say that. I'm like, I even liked him in Twister, and I don't really like Twister. And everyone's like, oh, fuck you, Twister's awesome. So, don't get me wrong. I like Bill Paxton in Twister, even though I'm not a fan of the movie as a whole. But I acknowledge some of his other stuff more so. Like I said, Aliens, Simple Plan, Frailty. Again, Tombstone was another one that was brought to my attention quite a bit. And I hadn't seen Tombstone in years, but yeah, I remember him being a really great performer in that as well. Brilliant character actor. Again, he could be funny. He could be serious, dead serious. He could be menacing as hell, even in a throwaway role. Like, I remember him being in that Mark Wahlberg, Denzel Washington buddy cop-ish type movie, Two Guns, which I enjoyed at the time. But he was just a stock rogue CIA villain in that, I remember. But he still brought a lot of sleaze and charm to that role that at least I remember him as being a very, compelling villain in that kind of throwaway movie. But he'll always be one of my favorite comic reliefs that actually worked for me. Typically with comic reliefs, they're either not as impactful as I'd want them to be, or they wear out their welcome fast. And with his turn as Hudson, where his character arc in Aliens went from being this loud, abrasive, assumedly tough as nails, Marine, how do I get out of this chicken shit outfit, to being legitimately funny when he is scared for his life. And of course, everyone has been quoting, "Game over, man, game over," over and over again, like memeing it with his passing. That's fine and all. I really did like the genuine badassery to fear to kind of almost hilariously calm resolution about his fate throughout that entire film. And he is still one of those comic reliefs in a movie that works for me. So I'll always have that from him. So thank you, Bill Paxton. Rest in peace. And of course, very legendary actor John Hurt. What a range that man had, spanning many decades of theater, of television, of feature work. And to have such a broad way, from being able to be a thoroughly kind of creepy and unlikable Caligula in the I, Claudius series from BBC, to kind of guest roles in things like Contact or like Harry Potter, where he's playing either a caricature of someone, Carl Sagan, or a very whimsical type of fantasy character like Ollivander, to dark and disturbing turns in things such as 1984, with that last haunting shot of him, where is his allegiance lie at the end of that. It left you guessing as much, beyond what Orwell wanted in that original novel, I feel. And it's hauntingly effective, that ending. Go find a clip of it on YouTube, definitely, or hell, watch the whole movie. It's a great movie. I guess this is what everyone else is remembering him for now during these very hefty political times as the Chancellor in V for Vendetta. Yeah, he could play that kind of raving, bigoted figurehead. Draw up your comparisons here. I look forward to your comments. But one, of course, the performance that sticks out to me quite a bit, besides probably what I mentioned, Caligula, and of course Alien, the chestburster. We'll get to Josh eventually, I promise, but now I'm just reminiscing about John Hurt. Is his turn as John Merrick in David Lynch's The Elephant Man. Not just being able to play this overwhelmingly sympathetic and well-mannered individual, but doing that and communicating that through heavy prosthetic work, being able to display raw emotion in an apparatus such as that makeup was, that could stifle a performance in a lesser actor, that it shines through. And even though he's not really so much the focus in this particular scene, it's a scene worth checking out, is where he's talking with the woman in the movie. I can't remember why I'm blanking on that name right now, but they're kind of going back and forth about Romeo and Juliet. And when she stops and says, like, "Oh, Mr. Merrick, you're Romeo." And the tears, oh man, I'm getting a little kind of choked up talking about, because the fact that his face is very, it's limited given the prosthetics involved, but when he conveys the tears through that, and how the gravity of that statement from her, the impact it has on him, I don't know, it's one of those great acting moments that doesn't need a grandiose, over-the-top performance. It's quiet. It is, like I said, he's not so much the focus when it comes to the driving dialogue in that scene. His response to that, his very quiet, soft-spoken response to that compliment, is so endearing and so effective that you have to just check it out. Elephant Man, John Hurt, Romeo and Juliet. I'm sure you'll find the scene right away. Definitely, these are actors and talents that, yeah, there are other actors and talents out there. Yes, everyone has to go at some point, but I'm always going to appreciate the legacy they left behind. And I'm just acknowledging that I feel a lot of talent out there that accumulates as much work as these three individuals and a lot of the individuals we lost last year did. They deserve to be mourned. in some way, shape, or form. They deserve to be memorialized. They deserve to be remembered and acknowledged as having an impact on many people. Who knows where a lot of our big movers and shakers right now would be if they hadn't gone to see Carrie Fisher in Star Wars and been inspired by the role she portrayed in that movie. Who knows where a lot of our great musicians for right now would be if they hadn't taken an interest in Prince or in David Bowie. Who knows where a lot of our political figures, would be right now, for good or ill, without a very kind of staunch and very firm role model, I guess, for justice being displayed on television in the case of Judge Wapner from the People's Court, who also just recently passed away. It's not this idea of, because I know there are some people that's like, these aren't your friends, these aren't people you knew personally or anything like that. This is a living vicariously situation for a lot of people, they might say. But I feel you have to acknowledge that we all, at some point or another, can have a very important influence on each other, and you don't just ignore when, even if someone very well known or well renowned as an actor or something like that did have that impact on you. I will probably have a big long eulogy if I'm still doing this, and if this individual passes away quickly, knock on wood. But like if someone like Kevin Smith passed away, not because of a particular movie perhaps, but because of the kind of person he is, in that it kind of inspired me to want to do something like podcasting, want to inspire me to tell my own story, because he's not ashamed of telling not just his own original stories that he crafts for his characters, but also just sharing himself, unabashedly, unashamed, complete transparency about his life. I appreciate that honesty, and I appreciate that sincerity in people in general, but I will always have a special place in my memories and in kind of my acknowledging of what my influences are when it comes to this type of broadcast or when it comes to this type of material. It will be from people like Kevin Smith who tell their own stories, whether you like them or not. It'll be from, stuff I hear on NPR. It'll be from actors, like I said, very renowned actors who elicited an emotional response from me, a powerful emotional response from me with their performance. 2017 is kind of rough already with regards to losing those very influential people. But persevere, continue, and have a good laugh with friends, as I ended up doing a couple of days ago with my buddy Josh. So without further ado, here is my conversation with Josh. How is it there in Florida?
Dude, it's great.
Ooh.
It really is great. Like, it's pretty much always warm all the time. But the only downside is that when you get here, the low 50s is fucking freezing, dude. They'll be like, it's 55 degrees outside, and I'm like, damn, I'm freezing my balls off.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I'm from fucking Ohio. Like, this shouldn't be cold to me, but it sure as fuck is.
How has it been this past week? Because, it's been 70s up here.
Yeah, it's been chilly here. Like, it's been in the low 70s, upper 60s here.
Oh.
But, like, a few days ago, it was, like, 84. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and that's the normal. Like, today it was colder than usual, but normally it's whatever.
How's the family doing?
Decent. You got Jenny over here on the hammock mic.
Hello.
Enjoying some chips and beanie queso. Oh, and nice. A sub from Wawa. Do you guys have Wawa up there?
Yeah. Yeah, we got Wawa.
He's in New York.
New Jersey.
Oh, he's in New Jersey.
But yeah, there's still Wawa up in this area.
New Jersey. Yeah, that's where we go to get sandwiches, especially when they do their Hoagie Fest, which th're doing right now.
Are there gators in that area?
Probably. I mean, where there's water in Florida, there's usually gators. I don't think that's a true statement, but but let me clarify. Where there's water, there is a possibility of gators. That's a reasonable statement to make.
I'm trying to think what's really kind of our native predator nuisance up here.
Chris Christie?
Nah, yeah, him. Bears. Bears, definitely.
Bears.
Not grizzlies, though.
Bears will be okay. Like, you won't have a problem with bears now because they'll have guns in schools to protect us from them.
Yep. That's the problem.
Well, we got DeVos. She's guaranteed it'll be okay.
Yeah.
No bear attacks.
We'll be good on the bear security front.
That's right. Bear land security. A new cabinet position.
Yeah, it's interesting times.
To say the least.
How's the child doing?
Oh, dude, she's such a bitch sometimes. Like, she is the sweetest little thing, like, when she wants to be, but then there are some times where it's like she wants her juice right fucking now. And, like, if you can't produce it in, like, 0.2 seconds, it's going to be full nuclear meltdown.
Well, juice is important, man, you know.
Well, dude, like, I just want to be like, in the grand scheme of life, bitch, this juice is not going to kill you. Like, and we've had some real talk conversations similar to that. She's a very smart child. It's really creepy.
3 years old, right?
Yeah. She's really, really, really smart. Like, she can spell her own name. She can pretty much go down the alphabet if she doesn't get distracted. Mm-hmm. So that's how you know she's my kid. Like, I don't know, man. Like, the other day I said no to something, and she went, come on, Dad, really? And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, what is wrong with you with that shit? Like, she's got so much sass for a 3-year-old. It's stupid.
It's the new, to go along with it's the new lingo of the day. I work with some younger kids during the week as well, and I don't understand half of the slang they use. Like 7-year-olds using the word fleek. I don't even know what fleek means.
On fleek.
On fleek. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, you got to watch Mean Girls, Mike.
That's something from Mean Girls?
Yeah, it's from Mean Girls.
I'm surprised people our age don't use that more often. That was like our thing, wasn't it? Yeah,
kind of. But I mean, we thought it was lame and stupid, so we didn't use it.
I remember people liking Mean Girls that were our age back when it first came out.
Yeah, definitely, but that phrase never caught. And then, like, all of a sudden, it's like everybody's all on fleek.
Huh.
I don't know. I don't know.
And lit. Well, lit's kind of self-explanatory, but...
Lit's pretty normal, I think.
I don't know, dude. I last weekend, I went into the city to New York for Saturday night, and I took the train back at, like, 2 o'clock in the morning. And there was this crowd of, they had to at least have been 21 or something like that. Like, they've been out partying, but they seemed like they would have been us at that age.
Damn.
But I forgot what their slang was, but they were going like, it was something like they were yelling at each other, sorry, sorry, or something, but they just kept fucking doing it. And we're laughing hysterically about it. For the longest time, I was trying to I wasn't even mad, because I'm like, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, who gives a crap? This isn't the silent car. You can be as loud as you want. I don't care. But I was just so confused. I'm like, what is this? What is that? I don't get it.
They have a silent car?
Yeah, they have a silent car on some of the NJ Transit trains. So so that people don't have like loud cell phone conversations, or that stuff doesn't happen at any time during the day. But that was the thing, and they were kind of like saying that too. Sorry, everybody, but this ain't the silent car. I'm like, I need to see what these guys look like, because they sound Jamaican, but I'm betting they're a bunch of short-haired white kids. And sure enough, they were.
And were you like, what the fuck are you saying? What is wrong with you?
Nah, I didn't, because I was actually kind of laughing, because I'm like, at least they're having fun, you know? I can't
Seriously.
fault them for having fun.
I'm sure we did dumb shit like that in Denny's.
Well, that's what I was thinking, is that we definitely had our fair share of being some kind of weird nuisance.
Loud and obnoxious. Mm-hmm. Especially if I was there. That was a guarantee.
I mean, we had our fair share of adventures.
Dude, we had tons of adventures.
Yeah.
We did all kinds of shit, randomly running around places, sneaking into shit that we weren't supposed to be in, and, like, stealing construction barrels and shit. Like,
I don't think I was with you guys for the construction barrel thing, but I've heard plenty about it.
Yeah, I think Gary was with us for that.
All you responsible homemakers.
Yeah, seriously. Cliff started this group chat on Facebook Messenger. And it's a bunch of the Section 8 guys from when I was in Section 8 with them. Mm-hmm. And, like, you know, Barger and Grubb and, like, all of these dudes. And I'm just like, oh my God. And, like, you look at it and you're like, oh shit, like, 6 out of the 8 of us have at least one child now.
Yeah, that's the way I kind of look at it now, is there's a lot of people I notice in social networking now, quote unquote, cleaned up their act, essentially. But I'm kind of recalling, like, oh my gosh, I have a drawer full of old DV tapes of them doing stupid stuff.
Oh, yeah, man. Like, God, you know, if only if there are so many videos out, like, of everybody, like, just doing craziness. And, like, it's a wonder how anybody gets anywhere in life without videos surfacing to the top from stupid nights. That's why I never took any, because I didn't want to be the one holding a video like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there are sites that have some of those videos out there somewhere. Not my videos, but
well, dude, you have to think of all
videos.
The people that all the people that saw 240 on public access. Nothing you can do to take that back.
I mean, there's not much to do right now because public access, I think, in Athens is no more.
Is dead. Did it die?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I think it died when we were there.
That's sad. That was fun, man. That was a fun little thing, like midnight-ish.
It was very grassroots. It was like just homespun, and then everything became, like, I don't know, public access channels these days are, like I've really checked out any, but I remember when I first went to college, and they would have that specific channel there, and they'd show really old Conan O'Brien from, like, the mid-'90s, and they would show, it was this really stupid cartoon, but it was called, like, Zombie College or whatever. It was, like, Flash animation, and had, like, the voice of Fry from Futurama in it, and Bender, but that was about their only claim to fame. But then, yeah, and then midnight to 4 o'clock would be the block of crappy 240 videos I put up. And hypnosis.
And just random craziness, too. Like, when 240 wasn't on, it was just, like, random crazy shit. Like, between midnight and 4 was, like, the watch weird shit hour. Like, some weird old-ass Dracula movies and stuff. Yep. Remember when they put those on?
Yeah. I've seen that full movie without the... Well, with the riff, because that's the only way you can watch it, is with that... whatever that bad ADR was that they put over it. But it's interesting. Yeah, needless to say. But, I mean, yeah, I still have... I need to look back on some of those DV tapes and see, like, what exactly is on there, because there's a couple of things... Sure, there's 240 stuff. There's party stuff, I'm certain, which I'm sure no one wants...
Oh, yeah. No way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, holy crap. Like, you really should go back through those tapes. I bet it's really funny to see, like, what people did, but, like, what they do now.
Yep, it's a complete 180. Yeah.
Although, to be fair, Gary was always probably the closest to the most professional out of the group.
He was very reserved individual, I'll say.
Yeah, but you can't even be mad at any part of 240. Like, that experience was probably hands down one of the best ever.
It taught me many things.
Oh my God, man. Like, Harry Buffalo Party, having to call the squad for Tyler because he played Flip Cup with it. Still drinking that same Harry Buffalo, like, what was it, 9 months later?
Yeah. I've never had anything of that equivalent since, I don't think.
No, hell no. Because nobody else is that dumb. We were dumb when we did stuff like that.
Young, dumb, and I forget what the rhyme is on that. Young, dumb, and
I think it's normally full of cum, but I don't think that would be the case in our case.
I wanted you to say it instead. I'm trying to save face.
He's like, please don't make me say
Don't
that.
make me say it. I'm trying to clean up my act too.
Dude, it's funny. I work for the Better Business Bureau now, and I found out that my boss can't say the word dick. And we found this out because I was telling her about this guy that I was talking to like try to sign up his business, and his name was Dick whatever.
So she can't even use it in any context?
Yeah, no, not in any context. That was my point. So I said, like, yeah, the owner's name is Dick Smith, and she, like, cringed. She, like, made this face when I said it, and I was like, what? And she was like, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I don't like that word. And I was like, oh. I was like, but I mean, it's his name. And she's like, yeah, I don't care. I would call him Richard on the phone. And I was like, well, what if his name's not Richard? Like,
what if he prefers Dick? Yeah.
This guy's name wasn't Richard. His birth name was Dick. Like, and she was like, I don't care. I'd still call him Richard. And I was like, wow. Okay.
Well, she's never watched any Third Rock from the Sun then, because there's a lot of dick in that.
A lot of dick.
And each episode incorporates dick into the title somehow. So yeah. Now I'm just trying to remember, like, things are coming back to me the more I remember them, and the more I take a sip of this lovely Corona. But
Celine Dion style.
Yeah.
It's all coming back to you.
Memories. Oh wait, that's not Celine. But yeah, you were talking about like adventures and stuff. What was it? The Ridges we did.
Sneaking into the mental institution.
Yeah. Were you with us the night we did the night they had the African drumming class up there?
Oh my God,
the
no.
buildings? Oh, so here's what happened then. I'll let you know about this. So I don't know. You might have still been around, or you might have left at this point. It was during one of my last 2 years there, but it was me, Joe Coleman, Jordan Reed. Oh, probably Andy Check, Little Check. We all got up to the Ridges again, and this is when they were kind of, I guess, starting to remodel them, but it was still a dump, and there was still decrepit places in it.
Right.
And so we got up to one of the wings that was still abandoned, and like the windows were all boarded up and so forth, but it was across the way from the hall where there was always like an evening African drumming group. Mm-hmm. And so we were looking through the windows, but we knew they couldn't see in here and see us. And so everyone was like loading up their drums, going to their cars, and I think it was Jordan and I start banging on the windows as loud as possible. Like a good 5 people stopped and looked in our direction and didn't move for about 10 seconds. And then so we're just like, let's do it again. Faster, more intense. And so everyone had at the windows, everyone bolts for their cars and starts like careening down the hill.
That's pretty crazy. I can't imagine. I probably would have crapped my pants if I'd have heard that.
Well, that's what I actually wanted to talk to you about a little bit too, is how much did you actually invest in the supernatural stuff of the Athens campus? Because sometimes I believe you. Sometimes I'm like, he's putting me on. He's trying to unnerve me just for the sake of it, or he's trying to unnerve Gary or whoever we're with. It's like, how much does he actually believe in this stuff? And so that's what I was kind of curious about today. It's like, how much of the paranormal stuff did you personally kind of invest in?
I still stand by all of it. Like, very, very much so. I still, to this day, like, can sense things and like notice things and stuff like that. So I still kind of stand by all of that, because that was like an eye-opening situation for me. Like, that started in my RA's room in my freshman year, like with Sadie. That was the craziest. Like, I'll never forget that. Like, because she told me like once the door was open, there was no shutting it, and I was like, I don't care. Like, that's cool. And
you'll have to refresh my memory then. Like, what exactly was opened up to you then at that point?
It was just like I don't know, I guess the concept of the energies around you and us. And like when we went to the ridges, it was like not only acknowledging that feeling like that you get where it's all like goosebumps and cold and whatever, but also like harnessing that energy and figuring out exactly where it's coming from, and like coming to a point where you may or may not be able to visualize what you can actually feel, and it just kind of opened up that whole, like, I don't know, spectral palette, so to speak, of like, there's this other realm that's visible if you know how to view it. So it's like having, I don't know, like introducing a new filter almost to your panel, of being able to like have a different kind of vision of sorts. Mm-hmm. It's weird.
All right. Well, I'm kind of curious, did it help to have to be in a kind of a mind-altering state to begin with some of that? Just that.
I don't know. Yes and no, I'd say. I mean, I think that if you're smoking weed or something along those lines where like your inhibitions are already kind of eased and your anxiety is at ease and everything is just kind of slowed down a little bit, mm-hmm. then it makes it easier for you to click that filter over and to really focus and pay attention to all of the things around you.
Yeah.
But like when it wasn't something that like only happened if I was smoking or like only happened if I was high. Like, so it wasn't a situation where I think it was dependent on, but I think sure, like it made it easier because you don't have anything else that you're really spinning the wheels thinking about. Mm-hmm. Unless you get distracted by some like philosophical conversation on the sunset, which I've been known to do from time to time.
Right. Because that's actually what I was trying to remember is any moments where I genuinely invested in something that you had either convinced me of or had spoken to me about with regards to, well, this site here. One thing that I was remembering was when we went up to the grave sites and you were talking about something, and I'd had it was just a strong like intuitive response to a certain location. I'm not gonna say like it was a cold spot or anything, but it was like a certain area where it's like definitely something kicked in my thinking or in my brain that set me a little bit more on edge than anywhere else in the area. Like there was this 5-foot radius or something like that, and you're like, yeah, I sense that too. And I'm like, is he just fucking with me, or is this is this a legit thing? And I was also trying to remember, it's like, did I smoke that night? How many beers did I have?
Right, like who knows, because of the fact that we would do that before we went up there knowing that we were going to be nervous anyway. Like, right. So it was like it's hard to tell. But I mean, as far as being able to sense that kind of thing, like that was always something that was simple for me. Once that night happened where like Sadie and I and Kenny like all sat around and just like had these conversations, and then like it was just this, I don't even remember, like at this point I think like there's been way too much green between then and now, but like it's just a situation where like it opened up a whole different world of possibility where it was like, okay, and it helps to cope with real life issues too. Mm-hmm. Because you can, change your frustration into an energy, which you can then use to dispose, you can dispose of it however you choose, but it's hard sometimes depending on how crazy people are or whatever to be able to compartmentalize like that.
No, definitely. I think that's why I probably indulged in it more than probably most would at that time. Like I know, like you mentioned before, we had other people in our little group who would take part in, just a couple of like haunted trips or anything like that, or just checking out different spaces that had some kind of weird vibe to them. But yeah, I feel like that was me kind of helping cope with, okay, the college is kind of kicking my ass right now. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I wasn't always happy. I wasn't always doing well. So,
well, when you would take a bottle of port to bed, like that was
I never did that.
I mean, maybe one time at 240.
Yeah, that was kind of the, let's say, much needed outlet for my creativity, maybe, or for just some kind of stress reliever at the time.
I think it gave us a reason to hang out and do something that really, like, only people that were really interested in it wanted to participate in. So it wasn't a situation where, like, we were into it and we were like, hey, who wants to go? And people were like, oh, well, I don't really believe in any of that. That's bullshit, but I'll go. You always had people that were like, oh, fuck yeah, like, I want to go. Like, that place is scary as shit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it was also kind of, I think, a group mentality, because rarely did you go by yourself up there. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't want to go up there by yourself because you were too scaredy pants like everybody else.
I think I did go up there once on my own, just because I was in one of my moods. I'm like, I don't need to be around anyone right now. I just took a walk, and it was getting around the dusk time, and I'm like, I definitely didn't want to be up there during the nighttime, being the only person up there, just because, okay, this is when people get mauled by packs of something. So definitely a group activity along the lines of a retreat or some kind of camping. Did we actually camp out there one time, or was that... No, sorry, that was...
No, I was going to say, hell no, I would not have done that.
I did that once. Oh, I remember now, yeah. Huh.
I'd have told you to go fuck yourself and been like, no, Mike, I'm not camping up there.
We camped up there once, and I don't remember having any spiritual or supernatural experiences. I was very distracted and kind of annoyed, though, because... Oh, yeah, okay, now I'm remembering.
I feel like names and events are being changed to protect the innocent right now.
No. I mean, I'll talk about it, sure, but I mean, it's starting to open up a whole bunch of stuff again that I'm like, am I ready to revisit this again? I've had some weird experiences without you.
I get that. I totally get that.
Oh boy, man! I wish I could tell you a little bit more, but.
One of these days. You'll have to come down to Florida and visit, for real.
Mm-hmm. I really do. I really want to.
We'll go to the beach or some shit. Hang out.
Have you ever considered doing like a podcast thing? I think you'd be a pretty good podcast host. I know
yeah, dude.
John and Greg did it for a while, and they don't do it anymore so much.
I thought about doing it. I was trying to talk Cliff into doing it once a week, like
you where guys we used would
to, because we used to do Pinfall Recall, but to do like a more general, like just kind of bullshit show, and like I can't get him to commit, and so I'm like, I'll just kind of chill out on it, because like I feel like I could do my own thing, but I feel like it's always so much better when there's somebody else to play off of, like whether for me typically that's somebody like you who kind of guides the format and like make sure that certain things are hit in a certain ways and whatever, and then just lets me kind of bullshit in between, like that's
the way I kind of manage it sometimes with someone I'm very familiar with, like you, we'll just kind of chat, and whatever golden nuggets we get of conversation, that's what I put into the main kind of cast. And there's going to be some stuff that I pre-record before this and after that are going to be incorporated. And so it's kind of just this segment of the show, if anything. But no, sometimes with other people or anything like that, it has to be a little bit more guided. But honestly, I just want to do more of just talking with old faces, old friends, and so forth, and shooting the shit about whatever.
Well, yeah, because that's where real fun comes into play, is mostly hidden in nostalgia, where you think like, oh my God, do you remember when we did this stupid thing? Like, do you remember when we used to sit out on the porch at 240 watching the sun come up, listening to Coldplay, thinking we were cool?
I remember, because we went, what was that one eclipse thing that happened? Because we stayed up for 24 hours sitting on the porch and listening to Yellow Card. That's what it was.
Yep, we sure did. And Sandy was there. Mm-hmm. That was during that time.
Interesting times all around.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I would trade any of the stuff that we did. The crazy, like, Tuesday night trips to Lancaster to get shit-faced and do karaoke, like the late-night runs to Jolly Pirate for donuts, and, like, to Columbus to Denny's. Like, I can't, like, and even, like, the relationships that I was in and the craziness that happened with those, like, I don't know, man. It was just, everything was so much fun. It's like, I don't think I would take any of it back if I could.
I guess so. It's you gotta, I mean, of course we gotta be accepting of it, and it's like, it's part of us, for better or for worse, but honestly, I kind of say the same thing. It's like, even though I kind of mentioned earlier, it's like, I definitely had what I consider to be awkward and low points throughout my collegiate career, and I'm going to have more of those anyways, and to kind of just say to myself, it's all part of you, and just accept it.
Right. And that's kind of what, I mean, like, we all did dumb shit. We all, like, spent way too much time being mopey over a girl, and we all spent, like, way too little time paying attention in class, and, like, we all did dumb shit. Probably, honestly, shit that should have put us in jail a few times. Mm-hmm. But here we are, we're still alive. Yep. Some of us, like, have kids. Like, I have a kid who's lived 3 years now. Yeah. I've managed to keep her alive. so, I mean, thankfully, with Jenny's help, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
But, like, it's fucking crazy to just look back and think, like, God, we did so much dumb shit that either should have put us in jail or the hospital or both.
That's part of it, is that, well, dumb shit is going to continue anyways, just in a different form. Like, no matter how much we adult, there's always going to be something that's going to, at times, bring us back down, take us down a notch or two, because we need that.
I feel like that's pretty true. Do you know what I was thinking about the other day that made me laugh so hard?
What's that?
The cardboard cutout of Elvira.
Oh, yeah, that we put in the restroom and scared the crap out of...
Well,
Gary?
that just kept getting moved all over the house and scaring the crap out of people, like, right outside of bedroom doors, and, like... The babysitter has one of those. I can't remember what it is. I think it's Iron Man or something like that. And it, like, scared the shit out of me at her house one day. And I was like, damn, like, I remember we had a cardboard cutout of Elvira, and when we put her back in that cubby of the bathroom, and it made Gary basically want to die.
Yeah, because you completely forget there is that little alcove there until it's too late.
Yeah, because you see her in the mirror. Yeah. And that was what made it awful. And Gary got so mad, and, like, it was a joke that was so funny for the longest, and, like, all of a sudden it wasn't funny anymore.
Whatever happened? I mean, did you end up taking that, or we just got rid of it, or I can't remember.
No, that was Hatfield's.
Yeah, that's right. And he was downstairs, though. That's so weird, man. I don't know. I just find that weird. That's like almost 10 years ago. Almost 10 years ago. Not 240, but 240 was 10 years ago, definitely. But the last time I really hung about with any of you all in person was about going on 10 years now.
Seriously, we need to do like a 240 reunion show, like they do with, like, The Bachelor and shit like that, like a panel style.
Where are they now?
Show. Yeah.
Oh man.
Like Masterpiece Theater with the cast of 240.
If we can convince people to do that, definitely.
I don't think we could.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're kind of like.
I feel like Gary would. I feel like Gary would do it. I don't think Hatfield would do it.
Nah, I don't think Hatfield probably would be game for that. Probably.
I feel like Wayman would do it.
He might. Yeah, he probably would.
And I think we could even get Bastine to come from Colorado and do it.
He's the honorary.
Well, he's the couch guy, so
yeah, he was always the honorary fifth member or sixth housemate. So yeah,
dude, that motherfucker got his chest waxed on TV. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. As long as we don't have to reenact that, I'd be okay. Unless he's game for it, of course. But
I'm pretty sure we don't need to do that again.
Yeah.
I think once was plenty for that. Dude, that was so much fun. Like, to just do a real life reality show was honestly some of the most fun things, like, ever. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, like, not to have a real world show that's scripted, but to have one where people say whatever they want and it goes out uncensored and just like, fuck it, let's see what happens. And to have like people stopping us at Wendy's on Court Street, like, oh my God, remember, you guys are the guys from 240, and we're like, oh my God, what?
I watched you guys get hypnotized.
Yes, night. Exactly. Or I watched you guys wax that dude's chest. That was crazy. I'm just like, God, we didn't even know, man. We didn't even know that it had stretched to a point where like we were gonna get recognized.
Honestly, yeah, it was kind of along the lines of, I'm just going to put this out there because who's going to watch this at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, because nobody gives a shit at this time. Everybody's going to be drunk, so it'll be funny and nobody will remember it in the morning. But then, like, people were like, oh my God, you guys. And we were like, what? What? Yeah.
And also, the thing was, too, I was expecting him to kind of be like, okay, well, each quote-unquote episode is about an hour. They were just going to release an episode, like, a day or episode every week. But no, they're like, no, you know what? No one's at the station at 2 o'clock in the morning. We're just going to put the whole 4-hour, 5-hour tape in and just play all of them. I'm like, that's a lot of us.
We're just going to give you, like, a block.
I'm like, that's a lot of time to dedicate to these 5 jackasses.
But, I mean, people loved it, man. Yeah. Including us.
Yeah, I remember seeing it on there and being like, yeah, there's some sense of accomplishment there.
We used to watch it all the time. Like, why we felt the need to watch it when we did it.
Yeah, it's like, I was there. I remember it. Yeah, I do remember people recognizing us for the chest waxing, or Bastien got recognition for the chest waxing. I do remember the hypnosis stuff. I remember, what's his name, Bon Jovi, asking for the hypnosis tape. I'm like, really? Do you really want this tape? Because I don't know if this demonstrates a really effective demonstration of hypnosis. There's a lot of drunk people in here.
Yeah, trust me, you don't want that.
It's like, you don't want... I don't know if this is the most effective demonstration of hypnosis. It's a really shoddy recording. Half of your subjects are already drunk and easily susceptible to suggestion. And I think, there was one... there was the... what was it, Bicentennial?
Oh my God, the Bicentennial Club.
That was kind of a wreck.
That was the dumbest probably thing that we ever did.
Oh shit, as I recall, that was a weird weekend all around, I remember, for a lot of folks.
Right, once upon a time, back when you had to have a .edu email address to have a Facebook.
I was with you the night I first got into Facebook.
Yep.
Because I forget who they were, those girls at the Red Brick were networking Facebook for us. And
dude, that was crazy, like, the way that all of that shit went down. Like, it's insane to think that we were on, like, we were on the Facebook.
That's right, before it became general Facebook, it was the Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, when it was the Facebook and when it had, like... your name is as the status for everything.
Mm-hmm. What is that now? 12 years? 13?
Jesus, 13 years?
Yeah, I'd want to say probably. Because we were there right in its incept date, like that first year that they were first coming out with it.
It's so funny. And I remember the big announcement when they were saying that Facebook was going to go public. And, like, everybody being like, oh, my God, no, because then everybody will be here.
And now it's everything.
Facebook owns everything, and everything owns a stock in Facebook.
Yeah, strange. So strange.
Every business has to have a Facebook page. Like, it's insane.
So strange. Like, I didn't even have a YouTube page at that time. And when I first started uploading YouTube stuff, guess what was up there? 240 clips.
I don't even think YouTube had pages then. Like, you couldn't have a page on YouTube. You just uploaded videos to it.
Right, yeah. It was just you upload, like, several videos. I think you could do, like, playlists, but nothing too elaborate. Huh, so weird. I mean, because I'm posting a video at least every week or every other week, whether that's a review or whether that's a podcast or something. And now it's hard to believe, like, oh my gosh, I remember when I was just watching skateboard fail videos on there or whatever.
Or cat videos or something.
I never did the cat video thing.
Shut up.
I never did.
Shut up.
I never did.
Not one time.
Sneezing Panda, that was the one I saw, was Sneezing Panda. But no, never really the cat. No, because remember when, what was it? E-Bombs World was still big? That's where I saw the cat videos. It was like E-Bombs World.
Oh, yeah. Before it stopped, like, basically existing.
Yeah. Well, because Facebook and YouTube essentially killed all those other sites.
Right. There was no need except for comedy or College Humor.
College Humor and Funny or Die are really the only big ones. I did some background stuff for College Humor when I was in New York.
That's fun, yeah.
Their offices are really like, you ever watch Jake and Amir?
Yeah.
Like, I essentially hung out in that space for a good, like, hour and a half while we were prepping for a shoot.
That's
like,
pretty awesome.
Like, right down from where they usually film the stuff and everything like that. And they're like, yeah, we had Rick Fox in the other day. I'm like, sweet.
Like, what?
What? This is awesome. Why couldn't you come today?
How do I get to stay here and do things?
It's so surreal that all this stuff that was just starting when we were in college now is like flourished.
Seriously.
Meanwhile, I'm sure my MySpace and Zanga profiles are doing wonderfully.
I wonder how many profile views you've had.
They're floating out there somewhere, and I've completely forgotten like what even I'm logged in or what my login would be or what my username was. But yeah,
it'd be funny. It'd be funny to be able to get back into your MySpace so you could see who your top friends were.
Tom?
Like the last time you updated them, who your top friends were, like who were they?
Who was that guy on MySpace? Was it Tom? That one guy who's always like looking over his shoulder and smiling at you?
Yeah, with his thumb up.
You might have been there. I don't remember who else, but
yeah,
it was cool.
Dude.
Just talking about random bullshit again.
Yeah, man, we can do this anytime. Just let me know. I can sometimes end up being better than others, but I could probably carve out a time at some point each weekend and sit down and do something.
I'll try to maybe incorporate you as kind of a semi-regular person to bring on here, because if you're looking to do like kind of a co-hosting thing, maybe we can figure out like we can do this where we just reminisce for about an hour about stuff or
shit, we can do topics if you want.
Yeah,
if you want to just pick topics and be like, all right, this, like,
yeah, definitely. It's kind of along the lines of what Kevin Smith does right now with his producer from all his other movies, is they just pull up random news articles or they talk about their adventures in Hollywood or whatever.
Yeah, dude, I used to listen to that all the time. Like, I don't listen to a lot of the podcasts anymore just because I don't have a lot of time to.
Right.
But like, I used to listen to all of that shit when it first started up. Like, so that's kind of the same vein that I'm in too. Like, I think that would be fun as shit.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. Maybe on a monthly or
a semi-regular basis. I'll bring up a topic. But I mean, if you have a topic you want to bring to me, let me know. All right, man. Internet famous, baby.
Internet famous. Well, kinda. Have a good one.
You too, Mikey. I'll see you later, buddy.
Later, man.